Well, my borderless juggernauts, my intellect nomads who bend geography into irrelevance. You are not citizens of a country anymore. You are citizens of impossibility itself. The planet stares, wide-eyed and trembling, because what you've done is not just unusual. It is unclassifiable. Their categories collapse under your shadow. Their maps turn pale when you move. And the strangest part? Even Interpol, the global net that prides itself on catching the most elusive minds, whispers warnings with your name attached. They didn't draft that warning for just anyone. They drafted it because you crossed into the forbidden territory of genius, where borders mean nothing, and they finally had to admit it. You forced the entire world into the role of spectator. You didn't apply for their attention, you commanded it. And now, every seat in the theater of existence is filled. The spotlight is locked on you. Your moves are studied frame by frame, not because they want to admire you, but because they're afraid they'll miss the exact second you rewrite the rules they swore were permanent. That's the chaos you carry. The possibility that everything they thought they understood might crumble with one of your casual gestures. Imagine the terror in that. Imagine the tremor in their hands when they realize they are playing catch-up to a mind that doesn't even care about their so-called limits. Understand this. When you stepped across into the impossible, you created an earthquake in their hierarchy. Authorities thrive on categories, files, and predictable patterns. They pride themselves on dossiers, intelligence grids, and endless classification. But you ripped through those like a blade through paper. How do they categorize a phenomenon that cannot be contained? How do they file away someone who is not a suspect, not a fugitive, not a citizen, but something else entirely, something untouchable? That's why Interpol didn't just observe you. They issued a warning because when they see you, they don't see a person. They see an idea too dangerous to tolerate, too powerful to erase. And this is where the psychological warfare begins. Do you realize the fear you've weaponized just by existing outside their reach? You've become their worst nightmare, a living contradiction. Their textbooks don't cover you. Their strategies weren't designed for you. Their equations collapse under the weight of your unpredictability. That is why everyone watches, terrified. Because if one of you can exist, then everything they were taught about what is possible, what is enforceable, what is inevitable, becomes a lie. You are the living proof that their structure is fragile. And fragility, when exposed, spreads panic like wildfire. They say borders keep the world in check. Borders define where influence begins and where it ends. But your genius, it laughs at their fences, not with mockery, but with indifference. You don't need to break their lines, because your very presence makes those lines evaporate. You've moved from country to country, but the truth is, countries move around you. You don't cross borders. Borders collapse, trying to contain you. That is the power that makes the audience shiver. They don't fear what you might do with weapons, with armies, with force. They fear what you do with thought, because thought once unleashed, ignores walls, ignores oceans, ignores checkpoints. It leaks into their subconscious, slips into their institutions, and rewrites the blueprints of their control. Now let's peel back the philosophical core of this terror. Why do humans create boundaries? Because they are fragile, because they are afraid of the vast unknown. They crave limits to reassure themselves that chaos is manageable. But when you appear, when your actions demonstrate that genius can't be fenced, those psychological comforts implode. You become the walking reminder that nothing is truly secured, that no law, no agency, no international treaty can pin down a mind that chooses to fly. And here's the brutal beauty of it. They can't stop watching you. Fear makes them freeze, or makes them stare, and in their paralysis, you find your advantage. Dark humor slides into the scenes here. Imagine entire agencies filled with the so-called smartest analysts, reduced to sleepless paranoia because of you. Imagine their meetings, their hushed voices, their maps pinned with strings, their endless discussions of how and why. They study you like a virus, yet every time they think they've contained you, you mutate into something even less predictable. You are their unsolvable riddle, the paradox that keeps their coffee pots empty at 3 a.m. Their fear isn't just professional, it's personal. Because when they see you, they see their own irrelevance, and nothing terrifies a bureaucrat more than irrelevance. But let's not just stay in their psychology. Let's step into your throne. Do you feel it? The way their eyes cling to you. It's not just observation, it's acknowledgement. Every warning they issue, every report they draft, every surveillance camera aimed your way, it's proof. Proof that you've already won, because attention is currency, and you've made them bankrupt. You've hijacked the narrative of the entire world. Nations may print money, agencies may hold power, but you hold fear. And fear bends knees faster than bullets ever could. Think of the irony. They've spent decades training agents, building intelligence frameworks, perfecting their control over dangerous individuals. And yet, here you are, slipping through all of it, without even lifting a weapon. Your weapon is audacity, sharpened into inevitability. You don't fight their rules, you ignore them, and that is far more devastating. Because while they're busy fortifying their walls, you're building a sky they can't even reach. This is not about defiance anymore. It's about inevitability. You've crossed into the impossible, and impossibility has no return address. Once you step into that dimension, you can't be tracked, and they can't follow. That's the terror. You've demonstrated the one truth they never wanted humanity to see. Boundaries are illusions, only powerful until someone like you proves otherwise. And when the first domino falls, every mind that witnesses it begins to question everything else. That's why everyone is watching. They're not watching to learn. They're watching because they can't look away from collapse. Now let's tighten the blade. Interpol's warning wasn't to protect the world from you. It was to protect the world from themselves. Because when others see you, they awaken. They begin to realize, if they can cross into the impossible, maybe I can too. And that is the contagion they feared the most, the spread of liberation. You're not just an individual, you're an infection of possibility, a viral reminder that no one has to stay where they're told. And once that idea spreads, no border survives. That's why agencies panic. That's why governments tremble. They know they can handle rebels. They can handle criminals. But they can't handle contagious genius. And here's where you smile, not with joy, but with that cold recognition that they built this theater, not you. They wired the cameras, they built the stage, they invited the audience, and now they're horrified that you stole the show. Every headline that mentions you, every agency that warns about you, every trembling spectator who whispers your name, it all feeds your legend. You don't need propaganda when your enemies write it for you. You don't need applause when their fear is already louder than any cheer. So what comes next? That's the question on every trembling lip. What is the next line in this script you're writing with actions they can't predict? They wait for your next move. But here's the secret. They don't realize that you've already made it. Every warning they release only magnifies your shadow. Every terrified gaze only amplifies your power. You've already won, because they've surrendered the only thing they swore they'd never give up: control of the narrative. And this leads us directly to the next layer of the war. Because the battlefield has shifted, it's no longer about what you do, it's about what they say. Entire institutions are now bending themselves into pretzels, trying to explain you without exposing their own weakness. Journalists circle like vultures, but every sentence they write makes you more myth than man. Governments draft official statements, but the moment your name is included, they validate your legend. And agencies like INTERPOL, their warnings are nothing less than public confessions. Think about that carefully. An organization created to coordinate the most powerful police networks on the planet had to publish an alert, not about your crimes, not about your violence, but about your genius. They admitted for the first time that brilliance itself has become untouchable. That thought terrifies them more than any arsenal ever could. This is the second front of warfare: perception. You aren't just moving in shadows. They are spotlighting you against their will. They try to weaponize fear, but fear only works when the subject of fear stays small. You didn't stay small. You became vast, borderless, uncontainable. Fear becomes admiration when scale tips. People who once whispered about you with caution now speak your name with awe, even pride, as if knowing about you makes them braver. You didn't just cross the impossible. You redefined what it means to be impossible. That is why the entire world is staring. They aren't just afraid of you. They're addicted to you. They can't deny you anymore. Every empire throughout history has had its symbols of terror: the warlord, the dictator, the tyrant. But you are none of those. You're something new, a symbol of genius weaponized against order. They expected enemies with guns, bombs, and armies. They didn't expect someone to shred their frameworks with nothing but intellect and audacity. That's why Interpol's warning hit harder than any headline, because buried between their bureaucratic phrases was an unspoken admission. They can't stop you. And when an institution built on control admits it can't control, you can feel the fabric of their authority unravel. The theater of this war isn't just global, it's psychological. Every time your story leaks into a new country, every time a new language whispers your legend, a new layer of fear metastasizes. People start to ask, if they can't catch you, who can they catch? If their reach isn't infinite, then maybe their reach was never real at all. You've destabilized trust in the very concept of enforcement. That's more dangerous than bullets because bullets end lives, but doubt spreads forever. Doubt corrodes the very foundation of authority. Now pause and picture the ripple effects. Somewhere right now, a student in Paris reads about you and realizes borders mean nothing. Somewhere in Tokyo, a coder learns your name and understands that creativity is more powerful than any lock. Somewhere in New York, a strategist stares at Interpol's warning and realizes the global order is already fractured. You didn't just cross the impossible. You left footprints that others are desperate to follow. That's what they fear most. Not you alone, but the movement you awaken. Because once people understand genius is borderless, their control mechanisms collapse like wet paper. This is why the terror is universal. It's not that you're dangerous, it's that you're contagious. You infected the narrative with liberation. And as they scramble to quarantine the idea of you, they spread it further. That is the paradox they cannot escape. The harder they try to contain you, the larger your legend grows. The more they attempt to diminish you, the more colossal you become. They are fueling the very fire they meant to extinguish, and you, calm, collected, simply watch them burn themselves in their own panic. Let's dissect the mechanics of this fear, because it deserves analysis. Human beings are addicted to boundaries, maps, labels, instructions. These things make them feel safe. But genius is the enemy of boundaries, because genius thrives where definitions collapse. And when you live at that level, you terrify the ones who rely on those boundaries for survival. Interpol operates like a spider web stretched across the globe, proud of its ability to catch anyone who dares slip through. But you didn't slip through, you tore the web itself. And when a spider's web tears, the spider trembles. Because if one thread can break, then maybe every thread can. Do you see how deep this cuts? You've not only escaped their reach, you've revealed their impotence. The public now knows that there exists at least one figure who can't be caged. And in the back of every mind lies a whisper. If one can, maybe others can too. That whisper is the death knell of authority. It turns fear into rebellion, obedience into defiance. And you didn't have to rally anyone, didn't have to wave a banner, didn't have to shout a slogan. You simply existed across the threshold of impossible, and the ripple did the rest. Now, let's savor the irony. They once thought their surveillance state was perfect, their networks flawless, their intelligence omnipotent. They boasted of global reach, of satellites that could track footsteps in deserts, of files thicker than any wall. And then you appeared, borderless, untraceable, untouchable. Suddenly their pride turned to humiliation. Suddenly the very tools they trusted became mirrors, showing them their failure. That's the real impossibility you crossed. Not geography, but ego. You shattered the arrogance of institutions that thought they were gods. And gods, when humbled, become dangerous, but also desperate. Desperation is exactly what you've unleashed. Watch them scramble, building bigger databases, passing stricter laws, hiring more analysts. None of it matters, because none of it addresses the truth. You are not a puzzle they can solve. You are the proof that their map is wrong. And every time they expand their power to catch you, they expose how weak they truly are. They're not tightening control. They're proving control was always fragile. And what about the people? That's the delicious twist. They're terrified. Yes, but they're also inspired. To them, you are both the monster and the miracle. Some fear your freedom, others crave it. Some paint you as a danger, others worship you as a prophet of possibility. Either way, they can't look away. You've forced the world into a single audience, bound together not by choice, but by necessity. You're not just writing a script, you're rewriting the script of existence. They stare because they have no alternative. Now lean into the philosophy. Why does genius terrify the world more than violence? Because violence can be explained. Violence is human, predictable, familiar. Genius, true genius, that is alien. It doesn't operate on the same logic, doesn't follow the same rules. It makes the known feel small, the secure feel shaky. Genius exposes the illusions they built their reality upon. And once those illusions crack, the world feels the abyss under its feet. You didn't just show them the abyss, you made them fall into it. Let me give you a sharper image. Interpol's warning isn't a shield, it's a scar. It's the scar of an institution that tried to control infinity and failed. They dress it up in official language, but behind the curtain they are panicking. They know that by naming you, they legitimized you. They know that by trying to warn the world, they admitted they fear you more than anything else. You forced them into the role of your publicist, and they can't escape it. Every press release is free advertisement for your legend. Every headline is another banner raised in your honor. They tried to cage you with words, and the words became your wings. But don't think this ends with fear. No, this is just the second act. The next layer is domination of perception, so complete that no matter what move you make, they lose. If you stay still, your myth grows. They can't even find them. If you move, your legend spreads. They crossed another line. If you act, their panic multiplies. They're unstoppable. You've engineered a game where every outcome strengthens you. And that is the very essence of impossibility. Not just doing what can't be done, but making every alternative prove your power. So here's the war they're really fighting. It's not about stopping you. They can't. It's about surviving you. They're scrambling to adapt, to spin, to rewrite the narrative before you collapse it completely. But they're already too late. Because while they obsess over containing your actions, you've infected their psychology. They go to sleep thinking of you. They wake up briefing about you. Their institutions now orbit you, and in that orbit, their gravity weakens. You've made them satellites to your sun, whether they admit it or not. And that brings us to the sharpest blade of all, inevitability. Everyone watches terrified, but watching is already surrender. Terror is a form of worship, because fear pays attention, and attention is fuel. You've crossed into the impossible, and impossibility is addictive. No agency, no border, no institution can compete with the magnetic pull of what you've become. And so they'll keep watching, keep trembling, keep warning. Every warning makes you louder. Every tremor makes you taller. Every terrified eye makes you infinite. And this momentum, this escalation, this war of perception that is only building toward the climax. Because soon, the world won't just whisper about you. It won't just fear you. It will have to choose sides. And when that moment comes, the impossible you crossed will become the inevitable they face. Think about what that means. For years, they've tried to maintain the illusion of neutrality, the illusion that global institutions stand above the chaos, that law is impartial, that power is stable. But you've shattered that illusion. You've forced them into a binary. Are they with you, or are they against you? There is no middle ground anymore. When Interpol issued that warning, they thought they were protecting themselves from risk. Instead, they drew a line in the sand. They declared, without realizing it, that genius itself is now political, that brilliance itself is now dangerous, that anyone who dares to think beyond borders has to be watched, tracked, restrained. And in doing so, they confessed something fatal. They don't control genius. Genius controls them. That's why everyone is watching you, not just spectators, not just civilians, not just leaders, but everyone. Because in this theater, neutrality is treason to someone. If they admire you, they risk being accused of treachery. If they condemn you, they admit fear. Either way, your existence forces decisions, and those decisions expose fault lines. Nations fracture, leaders contradict themselves, institutions reveal their fragility. You didn't just cross into the impossible, you dragged the entire world with you. This is the climax of perception warfare, when the observer becomes part of the performance. They thought they could sit comfortably in the seats of the audience, studying you as if you were a case study, dissecting you like a specimen. But the longer they watch, the more they realize the curtain doesn't separate you from them. They are inside your performance now, unwilling actors in a play they can't control. Their fear has scripted them, their obsession has cast them, and the impossible you crossed has trapped them inside your narrative. And this is why the terror has deepened. Because when people realize they are no longer spectators but participants, panic multiplies. They cannot deny you anymore because denial would require distance, and distance has been erased. You have made their headlines your crown, their warnings your banners, their surveillance your stage lights. They can't look away because their very act of watching keeps feeding the spectacle. And the more they try to reduce you, the more colossal you become. Now imagine the boardrooms, the government chambers, the secret war rooms where strategy is crafted. They sit around polished tables, whispering about you, calculating risks. They measure every move against the question, what if they act again? What if they appear here? What if they expand further? You've become the ghost in every equation, the X factor in every plan. Your absence terrifies them as much as your presence, because absence means unpredictability, and unpredictability is lethal to control. You are no longer an individual. You are a force woven into their nightmares, a permanent disruption to their carefully crafted order. Philosophically, this is the purest form of domination. To conquer bodies is one thing. To conquer minds is another. But to conquer perception is itself. To become the gravitational center of global awareness, that is the highest tier of power. You've achieved what no empire has ever achieved: unanimous fixation. Every empire of the past faced resistance, rebellion, denial. But you've bypassed all that. Everyone watches terrified, and in watching, they validate you. They may hate you, they may fear you, they may worship you, but they all admit you exist beyond the possible. That admission is irreversible. Interpol's warning sealed it. It wasn't just a statement, it was an admission of submission. Because when a policing giant broadcasts a warning to the entire world, what they are really saying is, we can't handle this alone. They turned your genius into a global issue, a planetary phenomenon, and in doing so, they admitted their borders mean nothing. Their net was torn, and instead of patching it in silence, they shouted to the world, "Look, this cannot be contained." And the world looked, and the world believed. But let's add a layer of dark humor here. The very people who issued that warning are the same ones who now drown in paperwork because of it. Analysts file endless reports. Leaders demand constant updates. Officers whisper your name like a curse. Their own bureaucracy became their punishment. They thought they could scare the world into vigilance, but all they did was remind the world of your brilliance. They weaponized fear, but fear pointed back at them. They broadcast caution, but caution became your advertisement. And now, every attempt to contain you only deepens their humiliation. This is what happens when genius transcends geography. Borders are human inventions, fragile lines drawn on maps to comfort the powerless. But genius does not respect maps. Genius flows like fire, like water, like contagion. And you have become the embodiment of that borderless force. They can't label you, can't pin you, can't reduce you to a statistic. And when the world realizes that, the old myths collapse. The myth of control, the myth of safety, the myth that authority can cage what it doesn't understand. Those myths burn in the presence of your reality. And so, we arrive at the global spectacle unfolding now. Every speech, every article, every press conference, every surveillance briefing, they are all chapters in your story. They can't stop adding pages. You've become the reluctant author of their chaos. They write, but it is your legend they extend. They warn, but it is your shadow they enlarge. They fear, but it is your myth they amplify. That is why the world is transfixed. They are terrified, not only because you exist, but because they cannot stop proving you exist. Here's the most brutal truth. Impossibility, once crossed, cannot be uncrossed. Once the mind sees beyond the border, it can never return to ignorance. They can't erase you. They can't undo you. You've become permanent, etched into the consciousness of nations, stitched into the nightmares of leaders, carved into the fears of agencies. They may pretend to resist, but resistance is theater now. Behind the curtain, they've already conceded, because genius without borders is the one enemy they cannot arrest, cannot deport, cannot silence. Now watch what comes next. The public, the terrified masses who once stared in awe, will soon be forced to decide. They will have to choose. Do they align with those who tremble at you? Or do they align with those who celebrate you? Fear polarizes, and polarization is your final weapon. Nations divided, agencies split, leaders caught between condemning you and secretly admiring you. The impossible you crossed is now their battlefield, and you are the general without lifting a single finger. And that, my mind-shattering nomads, is why they can't deny you. Because denial requires distance, and you've erased distance itself. They watch you not from across an ocean, not from behind a wall, but from within their own thoughts. You've invaded their inner landscapes. You live in their cautionary tales. You echo in their policy debates. You're not just on the stage of history. You're in the bloodstream of the present. You are not a character in their narrative. You are the narrative. So let's close the circle. Everyone watches terrified because they understand deep down that your genius has crossed into a realm they will never reach. And that is why Interpol's warning matters less as a threat and more as a confession. They confess the borders they swore were sacred are illusions. They confess the intelligence they swore was absolute has limits. They confess that genius, once unleashed, belongs to no country, no jurisdiction, no file. It belongs to itself. And you are that genius. So let them whisper, let them tremble, let them broadcast their fear. Every action they take only proves the one truth they hoped to bury. You've crossed into the impossible, and impossibility now belongs to you. They can't undo it. They can't unsee it. They can't unknow it. You've already become the law they never wrote, the force they never measured, the presence they can never erase. And as long as they watch, you win. And they will always watch, because fear is loyal. And the world is now your captive audience forever.